welcome back to another Ready podcast. Today, same as before, we have myself, Diane, and Rob. And today we're going to have an interesting topic, not very far from what we usually work with, the English language today. So first we're going to have an introduction about the English language, and then we're going to do something fun at the end. We're going to have a little quiz to see, do you know these weird English words? Not all of them are weird. Some of them are just slang, or some of them are British English, which might be different from what you guys are used to. So, as we've talked about before, Diane, you're from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Rob, you're from the New York area.
True.
So, let's start there, maybe. Is there anything that's different? Like, if you guys, let's say, Diane, you went to wherever Rob lives, that area, would there be anything different? Would you hear any words that are different to you, or anything that might be abnormal to what you're used to in the English language?
So I've been to New York twice, the main area, but I haven't been there long enough both times. I wasn't there long enough both times to hear a lot of conversations. I do know that, like, going to California at least, or something, I think most people in Texas, instead of saying you all, would say y'all, and then I would get made fun of from people all like that are not from Texas, especially my California friends, or maybe New York too, all over, even outside of the US. They're like, y'all, right, cowboy, y'all. But,
Cowboy.
and then some people think we Texans greet each other by saying howdy, like for real, but we don't.
You
No one
don't?
does. No
What?
one. No one does ever.
Wow.
No one does ever.
Okay, burst
But,
my
like,
bubble.
But I will say it rarely as a joke to people. Be like, howdy y'all, or howdy brother. Yeah, as a joke though. I couldn't start, a greeting with someone like that.
Like a stranger would be like, howdy. That would be a bit weird, I guess.
Super weird. They wouldn't even understand probably. What? I'm crazy.
How about you, Rob? What's some New York words or slang, something you're used to?
New York words or slang. So from what I can think of, let's see. A very small detail that I didn't actually know was New York slang. And this is very specific to my area in New York as well. And I realized this through having like a debate with Diane one day. I believe we were in a Daiso, which is a 100 yen shop, or like a dollar store for those who don't know. And I think I said something along the lines of, we should hop online. We should get online. And I remember Diane saying, what do you mean online? Like, you were thinking like the internet, like pull out our phones and look up at something. But I was saying, oh, online, and you mean like in line? Like get in line?
Get in line?
So apparently all of America says get in line, but where I'm from in New York, we say get online.
Like in a queue, you mean? Like
Yeah,
people
yeah.
get in a queue?
To get in a queue,
Wow.
we say get online.
But we don't say Q at all, ever.
Yeah, we rarely say
I
queue.
didn't know that was a thing until I moved here and I saw something on a sign that was pointing to the register. I was like, queue?
Yeah.
Like, I think about in-game waiting for a queue, like a comp game.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty
But-
normal to say queue. I
Yeah.
don't maybe...
Not from Texas, at least. We only say line.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't say
line,
it's as
that's
common. It's probably like older sounding to say it in America, maybe from my experience. I mean, but it's still it means what it means, right? It's still what it is. We hop in queues for games. It's the same thing. We're in line. I almost said online again.
Yeah, when
and
you say online, I think about the internet.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah.
does, but
Yeah.
I'm talking about a physical line half the time. So, and it's just that's what I hear. Other than that, you'll hear things from movies such as forget about it.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
memes.
Oh, yeah.
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 Mhm.
And
Which-
then there's like and you lived in Boston for how long?
I lived in
Rob?
Boston for over 4 years because I went to school
4
there,
years? Yeah, and
and then I lived there
some
for a couple.
There are words said differently there. Like maybe Boston, like when you say the word water, and sometimes you say it kind of like water. I can't do it. I really can't do it. But I made fun of you many times. I'm like, you mean water?
I'm so self-conscious
Water-
about it.
water?
Yeah, I
can't
pronounced
say it.
I pronounced water really weird.
Excuse me. Does anyone know where I can find some water?
Water.
And I used to go like water. I don't know why I did
Yeah.
that. I don't. I think
Yeah.
that might have just been my own speech impediment at the time. I don't even know if that's a real
No.
thing.
I don't think so. I've heard it before.
Yeah,
I'm like super older people. Yeah.
maybe
I think
that's it.
mostly from maybe
Movies.
British English. You know,
Yeah, yeah, possibly.
there's this big joke going around with water bottle. You know,
Yeah.
where British people don't really say it that way.
Yeah, bottle.
I'm gonna butcher it if I say it in a British language, but yeah, you know, waterable or whatever.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
They forget
Yeah.
that they don't forget. They remove the T's when they like do it.
they-
It's
they
like a
just,
weird
you know,
pause.
they skip some letters here and there.
Yeah. I shouldn't say it's
Yeah.
weird. It's just what it is.
It's just different.
The other very noticeable thing about my area that I want to say before I forget is that I'm from Long Island, New York, and they have a very specific dialect where a lot of O's become Aws. This is something I avoid like the plague because I don't like the sound of it. And not everyone does it, but with some words, it is a thing. And if on that rare occasion I do have too many drinks, it might come out. But so for example, you know, if you want a coffee, it's coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
You
walk
say
the
what?
dog.
Like
Gonna walk the
oh.
dog. You
I
know.
think it's the
Dog.
O. You pronounce the O different because I've
Yeah,
water,
it's like spelled with an
water, you know.
AW instead of an O.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
coffee,
What about
dog.
car?
Interesting.
When you mentioned car and you're
Core.
like car.
Oh, that's
Car.
that's the Boston accent. They
okay.
go they
Car.
remove the
Right.
R's from their words and they go ca, and it's more nasally.
Car.
Yeah, they go ca. So like the classic phrase is like I'm gonna park the car in Harvard Yard. So it would sound like with like a southern Boston accent, like pack the car in Harvard Yard. You know, that's how they pronounce that.
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
a movie.
So yeah, it's just very like intense that way. And
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. It's just funny dialects depending on where you are.
Interesting. Mhm.
Not all of people in Boston speak that way. So if you're going to visit there and you start like doing that, some of them might actually not know what you're saying. It's like the people who've lived there their whole lives in certain areas that do that, right? It's just the
Yeah,
stereotypical accent you might
Yeah.
hear in a movie or something.
Yeah, I think we should, you know, preface that these are stereotypes mostly.
Yeah.
Some places do say these things. Some people do, and some areas maybe might pronounce things like this. This is where the interesting part comes in, right? So I did some research. I went online and I, you know, tapped some keys on my keyboard and I found some information. All right. So apparently, there's a lot of different types of English, as we know, accents and so on, right? So, according to the Britannica, there is about 1.3 billion people that speak English, right? The largest language in the world. Largest as in people speaking it. And it doesn't have to be primary, but also like as a second language or whatever, right?
Yeah.
The second after English is Mandarin Chinese with 1.1 billion, so pretty close, not that far off. There's about 54 countries around the world that speak or like that recognize English as an official language. But here's the interesting part: the U.S. doesn't have an official language, so English is actually not your official language. It's just your primary language.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I had to look that up.
I didn't
I'm not
know that.
American, so it didn't come to me naturally. I was like, oh, cool.
Well, we Americans don't know much about ourselves, and at the same time, it's the most we do know about compared to other countries. That's not necessarily true, but it's interesting because I never really thought about that way. But at the same time, America is a melting pot.
Yes.
So it makes sense that sure it has a primary language, but the official language they might not be able to say because
Yeah,
of
I-
all the different types of languages that are in there.
That's true. That's true. So in the US, you have like during the colonial times, I guess, you had a lot of Spanish people and a lot of French people and British people who went to the US and, colonized, I guess. Some states do recognize English as the official language, but the country as a whole does not. So just some cool information. Some interesting words that have changed with time. For example, awful, right? When we think about the word awful, we're like, oh, that's awful. Like, that's bad. It's worse than bad, right? But actually, its real meaning means it's inspiring wonder, full of awe, awful. Which it's just changed with time for some reason. Same with the word nice. Apparently used to mean silly. You'd be like, oh, that guy's nice, so he's silly, basically.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so these are some interesting words. All right, so let's see. So, according to the Britannica, once again, there are different kinds of accents. So there's the British, British English, and that's divided into, England itself. Like they have a lot of different dialects in the country, depending on what region you live in. And I'm going to look at these from a macro perspective and not a micro perspective, because that's going to take way too long to go through every country and their accent. So there's British, then in that, and there's English, like we're saying Scottish, Irish, and Welsh. American has three main categories. They have Northern, Midland, and Southern, basically. And then you have Canadian with a lot of European influence from their English. Australian and New Zealand, like they have British influence, but it's still quite unique compared to most other. One of the most interesting ones is Indian English. It's one of the most... it's actually like English in India. I think it's the second largest country language. So basically, they speak a lot of English there, and a lot of words have come from the Indian English, which we use today. I'll go through that later. And we have African English, such as South Africa, where they speak English, but they also do speak a kind of Dutch. So that's for the accents, basically. So let's go through this. Basically, some Indian words that we use in our language today, the English language, which we didn't know were Indian, are, for example, shampoo. Shampoo is one of those words. It comes from the Indian language, which has become an English word. The word guru, the word yoga, those are pretty, self-explanatory. It does come from that country, so it makes sense. Then we have, for example, a bungalow, the one-story bungalow house.
Usually people will refer to bungalows as in like a vacation spot or something. Like, oh, I spent whatever days in a bungalow on the beach or something like that.
Yeah. Usually there's a picture of like a straw house and whatever. And avatar, for example, that's also an Indian word. It comes from so basically the explanation is an avatar is the manifestation in human or animal form of a god. If you've seen the movie Avatar, you'll get the main character became another character. He manifested into something else. That's why it's called Avatar. Which
makes sense, because when I think of Avatar, I always think of like in some way, shape, or form, a representation of something, right?
Yes.
So yeah, that makes sense that it would derive from that, for sure.
Did you know that 11% of the entire English language is just the letter E? The letter E is used a lot in English, apparently.
Okay.
Oh, I found out today that all odd numbers have the letter E in it. Every single odd number has the letter E.
All odd numbers.
I found out today. Yeah.
I'm still thinking 5.
Yep. I'm like going through all the numbers that I get right.
I did. I went through them all. It's true. Yeah, that's true.
I found out today. I was like, no way. Really?
That's true.
Interesting.
Wow.
Okay. I'm learning so much during this podcast. This is great.
Right?
That's why E is so useful. That's why E is so useful. So if you're
there's an E in useful.
True, and there's an E in true.
E in true.
You can't have English without E.
True. Otherwise, it would be
Yeah, true.
English.
English.
Yeah.
Which
It doesn't sound as
English.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
no. All right. So next
It's an Ian
step.
ready too.
That's
Wonder-
true.
wonder
that's
why.
my
That's
name.
you. Hey!
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. So now, we have phrases, we have words, we have slang in the English language. Pretty normal. Some slang words which the kids are using is like lit, salty, angry.
As
That's
of
me.
now, who knows what they will be in the next week.
True. True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different slang words, like people come up with them all the time and they become popular. Just open any social media and just scroll through and you'll hear a lot of slang words. It's very common in the English language to use slang. So if you're learning English, don't be afraid of using slang. It's pretty normal. But be careful
Use it.
what slang you're using.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't walk around like town screaming sheesh, for example. I don't think that's
I can't even say that as a
Yeah.
joke.
yeah.
That can't
It's
come out
fun
of
in
my mouth. I
games.
refuse.
It's fun in games, but I think don't
some
use it
reason.
outside. So, do you guys know any slang words which are, funny or something interesting which you might remember? What are some differences in slang words which were back in our day and today?
I actually was thinking about our next a future Instagram video using this slang called slaps.
Slaps?
And
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
this
that
slaps.
slaps. And then I looked up, I knew it was a good meaning. I've been hearing it a lot on Discord, Twitch, whatever. And when I looked it up, I didn't know it was mostly referring to music. So when someone's like, this song slaps.
Oh,
So it's like, it's really good.
I didn't know that.
It
Yeah.
slaps.
Yeah,
And it just
this.
sounds funny because I recently started hearing it. I'm like, what?
Really? Okay,
Slaps?
yeah. I've heard it for a
Like-
bit now.
Sounds like a bad thing, but I guess,
I said
You've heard for a bit?
I've heard it for a little bit now. Not for
Oh.
too long, but like
Oh.
I haven't.
maybe a year or so. I've heard slaps,
Oh,
and
I
I've
didn't
also
know.
heard people
Interesting.
refer to like music, mostly with music. And people
Yeah,
would all say like,
slaps.
banger. That's a banger.
Oh,
You know?
A banger too.
Yeah.
I don't think people use banger as much anymore.
No, not as much. Slaps kind of took over.
Slaps, I think lit is pretty
Lit
common.
also,
common.
yeah.
That's
That song is
lit, but,
lit.
Yeah. I
Um,
think
Lit,
lit can be
lit.
used for people who don't know what lit means. It means that something's very good. I don't know where it derives from. If it's you're lighting something, I don't know. But
I think I actually might know. Maybe.
go ahead.
And that is because when I was in high school, we didn't say lit as something
Which
being
was 300
cool.
years ago.
Which
by
was
the way.
this was 300
Yeah.
years ago. But realistically, I guess if I had to say like in 2006, 2007 ish, of course we would say cool, awesome, like stuff like that still exists, and it's still used now.
Dope.
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 But some people would say fire. That's fire, or that's.
Oh yeah.
And I
remember
think
that.
fire turned into lit because you light a fire.
Oh,
That's what I think
yeah,
of. I don't know if it's
maybe.
true, but that's how I remember that lit means cool because fire means cool, which is
It
weird to
makes
say. Right?
It makes sense. If it's not the real reason, they should make it that reason.
I
'cause
think
it
so.
sounds
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
I'd like to bring, some kind of logic to the madness of our language.
Because we know you love logic.
I do.
And maybe you both know already, but lit, when playing games, FPS especially, when someone is lit, it means they're dying. So their health is like
Oh, I'm
Okay.
getting lit. Yeah.
getting lit. Or
guess.
get him, he's lit, get him.
Oh, I actually didn't know that.
No? Really?
I
Oh,
for some
okay.
reason in my head I associate it with the same as
He's
if
like-
like they're doing good. Because lit means
I
like
think
cool, but I'm not sure.
I think good recently has become cracked. Like that guy.
That's true, yeah.
Correct too, there's
Like
correct.
he's cracked.
You're cracked.
So yeah, that's some slang. So if you're learning English and you're walking around the U.S., just say all of these slang just randomly. I think it would be fun.
Cracked lit slang. Howdy, y'all. No, I'm kidding.
Nice to meet you, you're lit. No, don't say that.
So like slang is important to know when to use them, right? It's because they're very very easily misinterpreted, right? If they don't know that you're speaking in slang, for example. if you just go up to someone in the street, hey, you're lit. I'd probably look at my clothes and make sure I'm not on fire. Right?
Yeah.
That's what I would be doing.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You'd have to be a lot
yeah.
more specific. Like,
Yeah,
those
so,
are some
you know,
lit shoes, but no one says
Depends on
that.
situation.
No, probably not. So make sure you're using the correct slang. So no problem.
I have
All
a
right.
question
Yeah,
about
go ahead.
slang, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead, sir.
And this for both of you. Is there any slang that you have that's like specific to your friend group or hometown or home city, whatever that is, that maybe like people outside of it would not necessarily understand? I've been through a situation where there was this slang phrase I would say amongst my friend group and other people in my high school and things like that, but the moment I went to university in Boston, you know, outside of New York, I used the same slang and no one knew what I was talking about, and I thought it was a normal thing to say. For me, it was regarding 7-Eleven, a convenience store.
Slevin.
I've never said Slevin before, but people in my town would say Sevs.
Oh,
I'm going to Sevs.
Sevs?
Yeah, and then I've said that outside of New York, and people are like, "Who is Sev? What are you talking about?"
Who's
Like, it's 7-Eleven. They're like, no one says that, Rob. I'm like, oh wow, okay. I didn't realize it was just a me thing. So I'm just curious if anyone else has some weird slang that might not actually be slang, but you're just so used to using it.
Personally, since I'm from Sweden, I haven't really been in a predominantly English-speaking area.
Okay.
So most slang we would use is probably in Swedish, which is not useful here at all. But I can say when I play games, you know, you do hear a lot of slang, and I use a lot of slang playing games. So recently I've been playing a lot of Valorant, right? And all kinds of words are used there in slang, you know. Sheesh being one of them. I don't use it personally, but some people when they play well, they just say it for some reason. Yeah.
So
more
weird.
words are like gaming words, you know, like it's mostly gaming slang. It's nothing unusual. I think most people would know the slang I use, since I'm not from like a specific area in the US which might have their own slang. But a lot of internet slang is what I use when I play games, I guess.
Okay. And how about you, Diane?
I'm thinking really hard and nothing's really popping up, but for some reason I'm thinking of the time when I was the one person out of everybody to say Tootsie Roll instead of Tootsie Roll, the little chocolate
Tootsie
wax
Roll?
candy. I said Tootsie Roll, and everyone was like, it's Tootsie. I'm like, but it's TOOTSIE. Tootsie, like a toot, you know, like a fart. Toot.
Yeah.
Toot.
I
don't know.
I
don't
guess
know why I thought of that.
I guess the same argument could be made for like the word book, because you say book but not book.
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 You know.
In Swedish you say book, so there you go.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
No way.
Well, I don't know what I'm talking about.
There's boo.
There you go.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
They're
true.
both.
That's true.
Book, it's true. Book, look, cook.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think most all words are
Like
usually
a-
pronounced the same.
Sound.
Like put, but P-U-T, put.
Poot.
Interesting. Poot. Poot.
Yeah. Poot.
Yeah.
Poot. A
That's
toot.
different.
Yeah.
That's very different.
Yeah, still. Yeah.
All right, so I picked up some words I checked on the internet. All right, most of these I didn't know myself. Some of them I did. They're easy, and then they get more difficult as we go along. Some of them are slang, some of them are phrases, some of them are just really weird words. So I'm gonna be asking you. Hopefully, you don't know these words. If you do, just let me know. Just say whatever the word is. We're gonna do this civilized. So when I say the word, you can say it out loud and don't scream over each other. Like that would be weird. But I'll be starting, okay? Word number 1. It's an easy one. Bloke.
I know.
Who knows the meaning? Okay, go ahead.
It's a guy. It's a dude.
It's a guy. it's a dude. So in British English, a bloke is just an average Joe, right?
Yeah.
It's just a guy, just
Yeah.
a dude, right? So if you're ever traveling to, England or the UK, you can say bloke. That's a new word for you to use. That bloke over there.
Yeah.
I heard it before, maybe a few times, but I didn't use it, and I didn't really know people who use it, so I thought it meant like bad, like a loser. What a I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it just means like that person, that
It
guy.
sounds like a loser, I guess. Okay. Now I know.
Don't say that to the British people. Just say.
We apologize to everyone who's actually named Bloke. No, I don't know. I don't know. Well, you could be named Guy. That's a name, apparently.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I don't know, though.
All right, the next is a phrase. I think you should know this. The bee's knees. That one's pretty easy, right? So do you want to explain it, Rob?
I was going to let Diane explain it to give her a chance.
I don't know if I should explain any of this, by the way. Okay, I'll tell you what I think.
Okay.
Tell me what you think, and I'll tell you if you're wrong or right. Yeah.
Okay, like, is it supposed to be like the word business? Like.
You're thinking of something else. You're close. You're thinking of something else, though.
The bee's knees.
The bee's knees.
The bee's knees is something that's really cool.
Yeah, something that's awesome. It's an old slang.
Old
That's the
slang.
bee's
See, this
knees.
is my kind of talk. I use this old.
I was born a few weeks ago, so I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Well, this is really funny. Well, also, I want people to remember that, like, English, like Diane, this is technically not your first language either, right?
True.
So you didn't actually grow up with people that spoke this slang around you all the time. This is a much older phrase, older idioms. And I use some of these sometimes. I'm actually curious if Elia is going to bring up any that I actually use to this day, very commonly. But yeah, anyway.
Oh, maybe. I tried to go with the weird ones because, as I said, I searched online and there was a lot of them. And most of them I knew, so I thought maybe you guys knew. But most of them were British slang, which I'm used to more than American slang. All right, this is a real word. It's not a slang or anything, but millionaire.
With an N?
Yes, Nillionare. Millionaire. Like millionaire, but with an N.
Never heard of it.
I actually have never heard of this. Is this can I ask if this is British English? British
I
slang?
think, well, this is the thing. I'm not really sure. I just think it's English, but it derives from the UK. What do you guys know what the word nil means?
No.
I don't think it's correct.
Sounds like a fish.
But I'm still thinking it has something to do with numbers.
It does.
like
It does. It does.
Or a bug.
Does it have anything to do with, like, instead of... Well, that's not going to be correct. For some
Go
reason...
ahead, shoot for it.
Well, when I'm thinking of millionaire, right?
Mhm.
When I think of millionaire, I think of, like, $1 million. A million something in, like, a currency, right? And nil is just making me think of the number 9 for some reason, because it just nine.
Because
yeah, but I don't think that's correct at all. It's
$9
probably
million.
I think it's a lot of something, but I don't know what that something is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So basically, nil in British English means 0, right?
That's
If
right.
If you're a millionaire, you have 0 money. You're poor, basically.
What?
You have nothing.
I actually
example-
knew nil.
For example, Rob is a millionaire.
This is true.
Would be an appropriate phrase. I'm not saying it's true, but it's an appropriate phrase.
It's
all right?
debatable.
Debatable.
Debatable. Yeah.
And what if it's like negative like that? Just kidding.
Well,
That would be really
it's-
bad. Much depth.
well, the thing is, I wouldn't use it in common speech. Like, I wouldn't go to someone and say, like, "Hey,
Are you?
I'm a millionaire. Can you give me some money?" Like, I wouldn't, like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't use it in everyday language. This next word I've never heard of. I think it's pretty new because of what the word is. So I'll just say it: apple pick.
I think I know. Maybe.
I know cherry.
Oh, I was thinking of cherry pick. Never mind.
Do you know cherry pick? You know Elia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so no, I don't know apple pick.
Apple pick?
Bobbing for apples. Apples. I say bobbing for apples.
Apples.
Apples. Bobbing for apples.
Apple
So there's
pick.
a lot, you know, cherry pick, nitpick. There's a lot of picks.
Would it be, because now I'm thinking like apples are larger than cherries, right? If we're going to use that kind of logic here. So I'm thinking like, instead of nitpicking, instead of picking at fine, small details, is apple picking just like everything's wrong?
You know,
Good
that
guess.
makes more sense than what it actually means.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Apple pick basically is when you steal an iPhone. So someone's an
Not all
Apple pick.
iPhones are apples. What the heck?
What?
Well, iPhones are from Apple, so that makes sense.
An iPhone, yeah. I was thinking smartphone, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah,
Specifically an
yeah.
iPhone being
This-
stolen.
Who made this?
So someone who steals an iPhone is an Apple pick. You know.
Great.
So
Pickpocket, apple pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your job?
I've never heard of this word, but it's interesting. It's a new one for the new generation. This one is pretty common. It sounds weird, so don't. But I think you guys should know this. Tittle.
Tidle.
Tittle. A tittle.
Tittle.
No, sounds like a musical instrument.
Has something to do with the alphabet. I'll give you that hint.
With
Good
the
luck, Rob. What is
alphabet?
it? I'm just kidding.
What?
I said good luck, Rob.
Yeah.
You explain it.
Oh no!
There's just a couple of letters that have a tittle. I'll give you that one too.
A couple of letters that have it to. Oh, is this like the weird? Is this like a weird name for like when some letters have like a little tail on them? Like when you make an
No.
A, you have like that little dash at the end of it, depending on how you write the
No.
A, like at the end of it. Oh man, that's not it. All right. Oh. Is it specifically the like English alphabet, or just we're talking about alphabets in general? Like,
Well, and any Latin, I guess. It's all normal alphabet.
oh, well,
yeah.
it's the little sign above the
That's
letter,
tilde.
right?
That's
tilde. That's tilde.
There's-
Oh, that's
yeah.
right. I don't
So
know
there's
that.
umlaut, there's tilde, there's accents, whatever. This one is very common. It's basically the dot over the I or the J. The dot itself is called a tittle.
What?
So a lowercase I is a dot. Yep, that's what a tittle is.
Anyone who comes to our school or like has any kind of test from our behalf, you will not be quizzed on that.
No, you
No
will
one
not,
knows
because
this.
It's not very normal to know, but
Okay.
this is
It's
what
interesting,
called.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that is
For
interesting.
sure.
Tittle.
Okay, next word. So you remember tittle. I think it's a good one. You'll use it in the future someday.
Now I am.
Probably
Now I
not.
have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
This one sounds dirtier than it is. It's not. Poppycock. It's British English.
Oh, I know this one.
Rob seems to know it. So Diane, just what do you think it is? Just give us a
A poppycock.
yeah.
Poppycock.
Poppycock. Poppycock.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Maybe like a happy person.
Happy person, maybe.
Well, not bad. Not bad. It's incorrect, but not bad.
Crazy person.
Crazy person. Well, okay.
It's
okay.
closer. Poppycock just means like ridiculous.
Yeah, like
Okay.
nonsense.
Like it makes no
Yes.
sense. Whatever. That's poppycock.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. That's
That's
nonsense.
poppycock. That's nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Okay.
That's crazy. All right. This one is one of those advanced words which people don't usually use, you know?
Oh boy, oh boy.
Clinomania. I hope I'm pronouncing that wrong.
One more time?
Incorrect. Clinomania. 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 It's used to describe a person doing something. I'll give you that.
I think I know. I know a different word, different phrase for this. I think.
It's not kleptomania, by the way, the one where you steal stuff.
Right.
It's close, not really, but the word is close. This is clinomania. Who has an idea? Let's go with Rob.
I think And maybe it's a little too basic way of thinking, but I'm thinking of someone who is like a clean freak, like because I'm thinking of mania, like craziness, like a lot of something, and clean. I don't know. There's probably a different word for it, but we say clean freak or like a germaphobe for someone who doesn't like dirt and germs. They want to keep everything clean and they're always cleaning. So that's what I think of when I hear Clinomania. I don't know if that's correct though.
Thought that too, but it's not spelled like that, right? It's CLIN.
CLINO. Maybe it's Clinomania. I don't know, but
I'd have to look at it. I'm not sure either. I haven't heard of this one.
So basically, I'll give you guys a little clue here. So Diane didn't do her homework because she has Clinomania.
Oh.
She couldn't wake up early enough to do her homework because she has Clinomania. Clinomania. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Is it
Irresponsible? Super irresponsible?
lack of focus?
Don't know how to use technology.
All right, I'll give it to you. It means someone who loves to stay in bed. Someone who doesn't get out of bed. Someone who's always in bed has a Clinomania, basically. People who love to stay in bed.
I just thought that was normal.
I have those
That's
moments.
just normal.
I thought that was just life, man. No,
I've had those moments, for sure.
I've definitely had those moments, yeah.
That's not me. Like I'll tell you, when I wake up, I'm boom out of bed. I'm good. I can't. The thing is, if I lay down, I feel unproductive. I feel like I'm missing out. You know, I'd rather do other things.
My only reason is because I have poor sleep management skills, so like it's usually not that long I've been in bed in general. So
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. I get
don't
that.
have time to always be in bed like that, but when I do, it's 50-50 for me. So either I wake up by alarm and go, or if it's like my day off, I'll think about it. Should I stay in bed a little longer on
I'll
my
think
phone?
about it.
It
Or
depends
should I
what
get
has to be
food 'cause
done.
I'm hungry. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get hangry. I need my food, so I'm gonna get up.
If I had some responsibility, I would never
It
just
depends.
stay
It's
in
like
bed.
50-50 on my days off.
Yep. Diane and I have something in common. We get very hangry. So that's why us together outside somewhere getting hungry is not a good idea. We just get angry.
Sweating. I don't like to sweat either. If I'm sweating and hungry, you don't want to be near me.
That's double bad. Double bad.
Lack of sleep. Oh no, I'm a monster.
Hungry, angry, sweaty. Not a good combination for fun.
No, not at all. Not at all. All right, next word. Sanguine.
What?
Sanguine.
I think I know this
Sounds like a
because I'm a
sandwich
nerd.
penguin.
It's a sandwich. Yep, it's a sandwich penguin.
A sandwich penguin? You got it. That's it.
There you go.
I like it. A combination.
It's spelled Sanguine. It's a type of person.
I'm thinking of. All right, so I'm gonna break this down. How it's working in my head. I've seen and heard this word before because I am a nerd.
Yes.
I have played games, card games, fantasy stuff, tabletop things. Usually I hear the combination of sanguine and vampire together. I think of something that is kind of like taking something or something that is kind of parasitic or dark, but I don't know the exact. Like, I know the feeling of the word, but I don't know the actual definition of the word, if that makes sense.
Let me just tell you, it's the opposite of what you just.
Really?
Yep.
What the heck?
Kinda.
Okay, no, I'm just curious.
Yep. It basically means someone who's optimistic or positive, like cheerfully confident. Like even in a bad situation, someone might be sanguine. They might be, positive or optimistic, or,
I need
have a
to
good time.
talk to Wizards of the Coast because that card called Sanguine Vampire does not depict that at all. Anyway, it's a good card though. It's a good card.
True. And this is an old, like really old word. It's mean.
Hey, Rob?
Yeah, it's from Rob's time. So you might know this. Bumbershoot. What's a bumbershoot? It's an item.
Hey, Rob.
A bumbershoot.
Bumbershoot? It's an item? Well,
It's a bumbershoot.
obviously it's a bumbershoot. There's no other word for it.
Yeah.
You know, why would you?
Do you need it for can I have a question? Can I ask a question?
Go
Do you
ahead.
need it for camping? Is it for camping?
Well, you could use it for camping, yeah.
That
But
doesn't
it's
sound like
not
you're supposed to,
essential.
though.
It's not essential, but it could be used.
It sounds like a camping item.
I'm trying to think of what. I know what a shoot is, but I'm trying to think of
Like
bumper.
parachutes. Bumper.
I'll give you a hint. It's actually two words. I don't know, like
Yeah.
put together. It means one thing. But yeah,
Now is so
Some
this is an
ideas.
item or a person?
it's an item.
It's an item.
It's something you might use.
Is it what is it the brush that you use if you're a chimney sweep?
What?
Is that the
Very specific. No.
because you'd call a
That's
chimney
not
a
it.
shoot something like
That's
that's
true,
you know
that's
so
true.
I was thinking like what's a bumper?
What?
It's a bumbershoot.
What?
A bumbershoot.
Well,
A
it made
bumper-
sense to me. The chimney sweep, it was a profession back in the day. You had people come in and clean people's chimneys out because they'd get
What
clogged
does
with
your house
soot.
look like? Back home, I'm curious.
Look, man, I watched a lot of Mary Poppins growing up. I know all about chimney sweeps. They sing and dance and
in
they're
this
great.
household, so we never,
Alright.
we don't really have chimneys, and if we did, it's like never touched. They're just like, what's that for?
Oh,
Well, I'm-
We're Vietnamese families, you know, we don't use that even in the cold.
I'm stereotypical white man, so of course we had one, you know.
Yeah. Basically, a bumbershoot is an umbrella.
What? No way.
That
Yeah.
was my second guess. That was my second guess.
So
No,
the
just
in
umbrella.
bumbershoot means umbrella, and shoot comes from the word like I don't know how they made it, but basically it's umbrella. It's a really old word for it.
Where'd the B come from in that? Why'd they have a B? Bumber.
Listen, this is old British English.
Listen.
Who knows how they made the rules? You know.
Listen up, you old British English users. The heck.
All right. So now I found some funny words online which are not real, but they depict something which you have to guess what they are. All right. So for example, I might say space light. That's a sun. All right. So it's gonna be stupid meaning to a word which you have to guess what I mean. Okay.
Okay.
A space light.
Okay. So water with corners.
Water with corners?
What's water with corners?
Water doesn't have corners. Water with corners? That's
Not
a
with that
room.
attitude.
Not with that attitude.
Water with quarters.
Corners?
An ice cube.
Bing, bing, bing. There
Whoa!
we go.
Oh my, that's
Let's
frozen.
go. This one's easy.
Lord,
Potato
solid.
sticks.
Oh.
Fries?
Fries.
Cool.
Finger pants.
Gloves.
Yes. Good.
Oh.
You got it
My
too, though.
hand
You
too. But this part? How about this part? I stopped because I was like, wait, what about the palm?
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Sneeze paper.
Tissues.
Tissues. Now this one, I hope you get. Horse tornado.
Horse?
Horse tornado.
Horse tornado.
Mhm.
Oh.
Horse race.
It's a merry-go-round. Whatever it's called.
There we go.
Carousel. Yeah.
Make these up yourself?
Some of these I did. Some of them I found online. That one I found online actually. It was funny, so I stole it.
Is it actually called a merry-go-round or a carousel or something? Or carousel?
Well, I'm used to saying merry-go-round. Carousel is
like-
isn't it like bigger? I don't know.
I'm not sure if. Yeah, I'd have
I
to
don't
look
know
that
what
up.
that
I
Actually.
thought it was both. But
Maybe it has
So-
both names. I don't know.
Mhm.
Cereal water. Pretty easy.
milk? Maybe? After?
Sorry.
Milk? No, it's not milk.
Milk.
It's white.
Yeah, it's milk. There we go.
You did it.
Milk. What is a sand moose?
Moose?
A sand moose.
Sand moose?
Animal moose or like creamy moose?
Animal moose. Not the things you eat. Well, you could eat this too, but
Good luck. Sand moose. Oh my god.
What's in
Camel.
the desert?
there we go. And then the last one is roll of inches.
Measuring tape.
There we go. Bing, bing, bing.
That was it. I was thinking like a roll of coins for some reason. I'm like, why inches? No, I don't know why I was thinking that. Yeah. When you said that, I was actually looking at my measuring tape right on my shelf, and I was like, that's it.
Nice.
Yep. So that was the part where I made up and stole words from the internet.
Cool.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That was good.
Good, yeah. So you can do this with your friends. Just make up random words for stuff and let them guess what it is, right?
And actually, if you are interested and want to try, maybe make some random words and put words together and leave them in the comment section. And then, what are they? You know, what is another way to describe something in that way?
Yes. One which I didn't add to my list, which I thought was funny because it's too easy to guess, but what would you call a hemorrhoid?
A hemorrhoid? Uncomfortable. Yeah.
Asteroid.
Ah, zing.
What's a mountain fountain?
A volcano.
Yes.
Mountain. Is there a category, like a name for this kind of thing? These words?
No, I just searched for boring words with new names, and it came up.
That's
and
pretty
it
funny.
just appeared.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot of them. So you should check them online. There's a couple of different websites you can check these on. Use them with your friends. They're kind of fun.
I think that's a fun, like, little English exercise, actually. Although, realistically, in a situation, you don't want to be like, "Hey, did you hear about the mountain fountain on the news?" Like, you don't want to say that.
Yeah.
No.
No.
But it is just a clever way to actually go about. Yeah,
It's
testing
a fun
yourself.
way to maybe learn English. You know.
Yeah.
And you can say ridiculous ways of saying things, and they can guess what you mean. Maybe it's a more of an advanced lesson than a beginner lesson in that sense, but I think it'd be fun. If you, as Rob said, if you like this kind of game, or if you have your own suggestions to weird names, please let us know. Write them in the comment. I would love to read them. It would be awesome to see.
Yeah, it'd be great to review them and whatnot and see what people come up with.
Definitely.
You know.
Definitely. But that was the English part of the podcast. So we went through a lot of different words and slangs and stuff today, and the mountain fountain and some other words. As we said before, if there's anything you want us to talk about or anything you want us to do or discuss, please write them in the comments below. Please visit our Instagram, check out the videos Diane makes there. She's really talented, so please check them out. Rob has been in some recently, which is really nice. And if you think of any topics or anything, just let us know. But for now, that's for the Ready podcast for today. So thank you very much. I hope you guys have a great day and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.